Hello, I'm Kimber, and welcome to the Nave News Update. Many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryNews.com. And here's news for today from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Buffy Sainte-Marie, a Cree from the Piapot First Nation, will be inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame at a special ceremony on April 1st.
Little wheel spin and spin, big wheel turn around and around. I get kind of upset when I realize that little Indian kids are reading the same kind of history books that your kids read. Shaking in my head.
Buffy found another way of reaching audiences.
What you doing, Buffy?
I'm feeding the baby. See, he's drinking milk from my breast.
Sesame Street at the time was probably the most widely viewed show in the world.
It's me, Buffy! I know, Grover, I know.
This is family, this is unity, this is celebration, this is sacred.
Adding to our long list of merits and awards, which include an Oscar, Golden Globe, half a dozen Junos, Officer of the Order of Canada, and countless other honors. Some of her commercial hits include Until It's Time for You to Go and Up Where We Belong, along with her anti-war anthem, Universal Soldier, which was inducted in the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2005. For her leadership and impressive body of work over 20 acclaimed albums and a career spanning more than 5 decades, Sainte-Marie has been awarded the Governor General's Performing Arts Award, the Polaris Music Prize, and a membership in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame.
You're a man, and I'm not a queen, I'm a woman. Take my hand, we'll make a space.
Until It's Time for You to Go has had a whole life of its own, aside from me.
And here we'll stay until it's time for you to go.
In 2018, writer Andrea Warner released Buffy Sainte-Marie, the authorized biography. The book chronicles Sainte-Marie's life and career from her birth on the Piapot Reserve in Saskatchewan to her success in the music world and her work as an educator. In the book, Sainte-Marie also opens up about her art, identity and personal life, her work as an activist and advocate, her travels, relationships, and for the first time, her experiences with abuse.
I always thought it was going to be over tomorrow. I never, ever thought that any of my songs would be remembered today, or that I'd be sitting here at this age getting ready to go into a concert with the Winnipeg Symphony and visit reserves. But that's the way that my life has turned out, and I'm very, very grateful for it.
For the first time, a major Native American art exhibit is being shown in the American wing of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, rather than in the Arts of Africa, Oceania, and the Americas. The new exhibit, Art of Native America, the Charles and Valerie Diker collection, recently promised 91 pieces to the museum, with the understanding that they be placed in the American wing and recognized as American rather than tribal art. The show aims to reposition Native American art as a crucial and inextricable part of American art as a whole. The large show features a total of 116 works from more than 50 cultures across North America, dating from the 2nd century to the 20th. All were collected by the Dikers, who assembled their collection over 45 years. Features include drawings, sculptures, textiles, quill and bead embroidery, basketry, and ceramics. The exhibit will remain on view through October 6th in the New York Museum. The American Wing Gallery in which it is on view will continue to be dedicated to the display of Native American art for at least the next decade. Native American lawyer Sarah Deer is among the 10 members of the class of 2019 that will be inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame this September. Other honorees include Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, actress Jane Fonda, attorney Gloria Allred, civil rights activist Angela Davis, retired Air Force fighter pilot Nicole Malachowski, cartoonist Rose O'Neill, New York Congressman Louise Slaughter, composer Laurie Spiegel, and AIDS researcher Flossie Wong Stahl. Sarah Deer is a member of the Muskogee Nation of Oklahoma. As a lawyer, University of Kansas professor, and 2014 MacArthur Fellow, her work on violence against Native American women has been recognized by the American Bar Association and the Department of Justice.
What I focus on in my work is the issue of violent crime on Indian reservations, and I focus on how to address that high rate of violence, specifically gender violence. Native women experience the highest rate of violent victimization in the United States, and one of the reasons that the rate is so high is because the legal system, as it's structured today, does not protect Native women. Tribal governments have had their power, their authority, restricted by the federal government. They're restricted in terms of the kinds of sentences they can impose, and they're restricted in who they can prosecute. And what that does is it means that tribes do not have the same power as a state government would have. And when you don't protect a particular group of people, then predators and abusers are attracted to that population.
Deere is a co-author of 4 textbooks on tribal law. Her latest book is the award-winning The Beginning and the End of Rape, Confronting Sexual Violence in Native America. She currently is a professor of law at the University of Kansas and the Chief Justice for the Prairie Island Indian Community Court of Appeals. Barona Cultural Center and Museum is among the 30 top finalists in the country for the 2019 National Medal for Museum and Library Service. The National Medal is the nation's highest honor given to museums and libraries for services to their communities. For 25 years, the award has celebrated institutions that demonstrate extraordinary and innovative approaches to public service and are making a difference for individuals, families, and communities. Since opening in January of 2000, the Barona Cultural Center and Museum has become recognized as the leading resource for people interested in learning about the true history and culture of the Kumi people. The Institute of Museum and Library Services will announce the top 10 National Medal winners later this spring. Representatives from winning institutions will be honored for their extraordinary contributions at the National Medal Awards ceremony on June 12th in Washington, D.C. The Rural Ethnic Institute of Rapid City, South Dakota, recently received a $10,000 grant from the Mary Chilton Daughters of the American Revolution Foundation to create a manuscript documenting the life of 99-year-old Native American Army veteran Marcella LeBeau. The author of the manuscript will be her great-granddaughter, Rhea LeBeau, a 20-year-old who attends Haskell Indian Nations University in Lawrence, Kansas. Marcella LeBeau began breaking barriers when she graduated in 1940 from St. Mary's School of Nursing. 3 years later, she enlisted in the Army Nursing Corps and became a combat nurse during World War II. She tended to the wounded and dying soldiers injured while storming the beaches of Normandy, France on D-Day.
My name is Marcella Ryan LeBeau. I'm a member of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, the Two Kettle Band. I was a nurse in World War II. I served in a surgical ward in Liège, Belgium, in a 1,000-bed tent hospital, and we were right near the front lines during the Battle of the Bulge. We were busy all the time, night and day. It has been one of the greatest honors and privileges of my life to have been there to do what I was capable of doing and to help in that way.
On the 60th anniversary of that battle, LeDoux traveled to France and received the French Legion of Honor Award. She also served on the front lines during the Battle of the Bulge in Belgium, where she would spend a year and receive a Medal of Honor from that nation as well. After being discharged from the military as a lieutenant, she spent 31 years working as a nurse in other capacities for the Indian Health Service on the Cheyenne River Sioux Reservation, where she grew up and now lives. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me and have a grand day.
Step into Seven Winds Casino Lodge and Conference Center.
Come and discover everything we have to offer.
Unlimited gaming action. Northwoods hospitality. Delicious all-you-can-eat buffet. Relaxation and comfort. Great drinks and good times. Big wins, big fun. It's all here at Seven Winds Casino Lodge and Conference Center in the heart of the Great North Woods.